Hello and welcome. So today we're jumping right into what I think is the absolute fastest way to build powerful modern web applications. We're talking about a real powerhouse trio: Next.js, TypeScript, and Tailwind CSS. Let's get you from zero to a running, styled, and really solid app in just a couple of minutes. If you've ever felt just kind of overwhelmed by all the tools and frameworks out there, you are definitely not alone. The modern web stack can seem super complex. But what if I told you there's a setup that combines all that power with an incredible developer experience? Well, the solution is this powerful trio. These three technologies, they just work together so beautifully to create a development environment that's not just efficient, but it's also scalable, and honestly, it's a real joy to work with. So let's quickly meet the players, shall we? First up, we've got Next.js. The best way to think about it is like React, but on steroids. It's a framework that handles all the complicated setup for you, giving you this production-ready foundation with amazing features like server-side rendering, which makes your app super fast and fantastic for SEO. Next, we have TypeScript. This basically adds a safety net to your JavaScript. By checking for mistakes before you even run your code, it helps you catch bugs early on, making your whole codebase way more reliable and so much easier to maintain. And trust me, as your projects get bigger, it's an absolute lifesaver. And finally, Tailwind CSS. This thing completely changes how you think about styling. Instead of writing all these separate CSS files, you build your designs directly in your code using these small, reusable utility classes. It's incredibly fast and makes creating custom, responsive designs an absolute breeze. All right, so that's the trio. Now, let's get into how we actually put it all together. Here's the roadmap for our explainer. We'll start with setting up the project, then we'll build our very first reusable component, customize some styles, look at deployment, and then we'll talk about where you go from here. Okay, first things first, we gotta lay the foundation. This is where all the magic begins, and you're about to see just how ridiculously simple it is to get a powerful, modern project up and running. It all starts with this one command. Seriously, that's it. You just open your terminal, type this in, and the Next.js installer is gonna guide you through the whole setup. And that little @latest tag, that just makes sure you're getting all the newest features right out of the gate. Now, the installer is going to ask you a few questions, and these aren't just random choices, they're the recommended defaults for a really good reason. We're going to say yes to TypeScript and Tailwind because that's our core stack, yes to ESLint for code quality, yes to the SRC directory for better organization, and a big yes to the app router to use all the latest and greatest stuff in Next.js. Once that's all done, you just navigate into your new project folder and start the development server. Just 2 simple commands, and boom, you have a fully functional, live reloading dev environment running right on your machine. Go ahead and open that up in your browser. All right, with our foundation all set, it's time to create our first building block. We're going to build a simple, reusable button component. It's the perfect example to see TypeScript and Tailwind working together in harmony. So, inside your SRC folder, make a new components directory and a file called button.tsx. Now, right away, you'll see we're using something called a TypeScript interface. Here, it's button props. This defines exactly what kind of information our button can accept. It basically means if you try to use the button incorrectly somewhere else, TypeScript will yell at you immediately. That's code safety in action. And now for the payoff. Head over to your homepage, which is page.tsx, import that button you just made, and use it just like any other HTML tag. You can see we're making a few different buttons here, and thanks to our TypeScript props, we know exactly what we need to pass in. It's clean, it's reusable, and it pretty much documents itself. So here's the crucial point. You're not just stuck with Tailwind's default styles. The real power comes from how customizable it is. You can basically tailor it to create your very own design system, which ensures brand consistency across your entire app. So let's open up the tailwind.config.ts file. Think of this as the central hub for all your styling. Inside this theme.extend object, we can define our own custom values. So here, we're adding a brand-specific primary color. This is exactly how you build out a consistent color palette. Okay, now check this out. We go back to our button component, and we can use that custom color directly as a Tailwind class, BG Novexi primary. Tailwind automatically generates this utility class for us. So if you ever need to update your brand color, you just change it in one place, the config file, and it updates everywhere. That is the power of a real design system. You've built something awesome, but it's not doing much good sitting on your local machine, right? So how do you get your app out into the world for everyone to see? Well, you've got 2 main paths you can take. On one hand, you've got Vercel, which is actually made by the same team that makes Next.js. It's got this zero configuration, just push your code to deploy workflow that's incredibly fast. On the other hand, you have self-hosting on a cloud provider like AWS or Google Cloud. This gives you total control over everything, your infrastructure, security, costs, but it does require more setup and expertise. I love this analogy because it sums it up perfectly. Vercel is like, you're ready to move in today. Everything's included, it's perfect for speed. Self-hosting is a bigger investment up front, but you get total ownership and the ability to customize every single detail for the long term. And just like that, you now have a rock-solid foundation. And this isn't just some little demo. This is the professional-grade starting point for pretty much any modern web application you can dream up. Let's just do a super quick recap of what we've covered. You've spun up a Next.js project, you made it type-safe with TypeScript, you built a custom design system with Tailwind, created a reusable component, and you now understand the trade-offs for deploying it. I mean, that is a huge amount of ground to cover, and you did it. But really, this is just the beginning. The real question isn't just what you can build with this stack, but how this solid foundation is going to empower you to build it better, faster, and more robustly than ever before. So now, go create something amazing. Happy coding!